This meeting is being recorded.
You're going to go, you're bold. You're going to go to Facebook with Akil?
Yep.
Okay.
You know what? Because then they will understand my life. They will understand.
You are bold.
Yeah.
He is too funny. My life. Okay, so I think we're live. They will understand.
You are bold.
Yeah.
There's a sound back.
Okay, so I think we're live. And you know what? This is what happened. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
There's a sound back.
Okay, so I think we're live. And you know what? This is what happened. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
There's a sound back.
Okay, so I think we're live. And you know what? This is what happened. Hold on one second. Yeah. Okay, I cut off the live stream because this is what happened before when I used to do the videos. Remember, Imani?
Yeah, you did.
When I used to do the interviews and I would try to go to Facebook and I kept getting that feedback. And I don't know why. So apparently I don't know what I'm doing. So what we will do, let's just be real about it.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and have our conversation. It will be recorded, and then I will share it to Facebook after we're finished.
Okay. All right.
Okay? All right. Well, first, what I'd like for you all to do is to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what it is that you do as a creative. Are you an entrepreneur, author, what have you? Let's start with you, Jason.
Sure. My name is Jason Green. I professionally work as in commercial real estate. And as a creative, I am an author. I am a life and health coach, and an advocate for the disadvantaged.
Awesome. All right, Imani, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I have written 2 books. When I am not online, I work as an intake. Well, I did until they got rid of my department, but I mean, that's basically what I've been doing for 2 years. But my heart is really into books. You know, I like to write. I like to create. So that is put on in a nutshell right now. So, but right now I am in between jobs. So pray that I'll find this new job, that I'll get this new job by next week.
Absolutely, absolutely, we will do that. And one of our greatest refrains as creatives is our lack of response or consistent support from people. Because when you have a passion for something, whatever you're doing, whatever you're writing, whatever you're passionate about it, or you wouldn't keep doing it. And so you do that from the place of, oh my God, I know somebody will enjoy this. I know this will help somebody. I know this will bless somebody's life. And then when you don't get that response that you thought you were going to get, sometimes it causes you to question, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing it the right way? Should I even be doing this? Maybe this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. And so as we enter into, we have entered into the second half of this year, I wanted us to take a moment to stop and just reflect and to have an honest discussion about where we're going as creatives. To do we need to make some adjustments? Do we need to jump ship and try something totally different? All of these things I don't want us to go the rest of this year wondering if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing and feeling like fish out of water. I want us to be secure in what we're doing. So let me ask you this. Give me your definition of the word support. What does support mean to you, Imani?
Well, at first, when I began this to write, I thought support was like your friends and your family coming together to buy your books or like to really help, to get the word out about who you are, and your work. Now it's just, I see it as support as, I don't know. It's not so much where I've gotten to the point where I don't care if they buy my work. It's just where, you know, they will come to me and say, "How are you?" or how's the work going? Keep it up because like your work is important to someone. It don't have to be like a whole horde of people, but you can probably touch someone. So just keep at it. So that's how I see it now. So I guess that's called growth now. Because yeah, at first I was really upset at one point, like no one's not buying my books, no one's not doing this, no one's not doing that. So now I see it where maybe I need to up my game. So so that's why I kind of been off to myself, so I can work on some things, and especially when it comes to my work. So like, yeah, I just want to like just improve some parts of it, and who knows, maybe I will seek the support that I have always wanted. But right now, I am content. If someone would, just see how I'm feeling, or just like, just keep on encouraging me to keep on. So that's how I see it.
And that's very important. That really struck a chord with me because it's not necessarily monetary support.
Right.
That is support. Like somebody just calling you and saying, "How are you coming along with your book?"
Exactly.
Or do you need any help? Like even making copies or just anything. That is support as well. So I think that's really important. Thank you for sharing that. What
You're
about
welcome.
Jason? Jason, how do you define support?
That's a really good question. And, before I came online with you guys, Raymond said, how are you going to respond to that question? And I said, I didn't know, because I didn't know in what context you were going to talk about support. But in the context of being a creative, I've defined support as people who may purchase, people who will see you post something related to something that you've created and they share it.
Yes.
That's support to me. And also sometimes a congratulations, or acknowledging, the accomplishment is support. Very early on, I felt like I was doing all the supporting and no one was supporting me, and I got beyond that, but I also had to realize that, I have a dream too. And I can't always just support everyone else's dream.
Right.
And sometimes it's okay to be selfish because you're working on your dream too. And I would love to purchase your book. I would love to share your posts, but I have things going on too, right?
Right.
But I think if we all just agree to support when we can, whatever that looks like, it would probably save us a lot of heartache when we in terms of expectations.
Right.
That's
And that right there is extremely important, the expectation part, because I know when I first joined Facebook, my whole goal was to connect with other authors, to connect with publishers, excuse me, help me to hone my craft, to become a better writer, stuff like that. And so I was like really zoomed in on the authors and this, that, and this. So I was forever sharing people's stuff, forever sharing people's stuff. I don't care what they were having. If it was like a workshop, they had a new book come out, whatever. And then as time went on, because it's been a long time, we've been doing Facebook like 15 years now. As time went on, I started realizing no matter what I'm having, these same people are not sharing it.
Right.
And then even if they don't share it, they don't even say anything.
Right.
Good job. I hope it was, successful. Nothing. You just totally don't see me over here. So
and then you have to be careful. You have to be careful with groups, because they, it becomes this clique, and I'm realizing sometimes you're in these author groups and you're like, I'm not learning anything here.
Exactly.
I'm not getting any. And that was the thing back in the day, was finding an author group, finding this group of people, book clubs that were sharing and I'm just like, this, you drive yourself crazy.
That's correct.
Exactly.
Right.
That is how.
And then especially with them just adding you in the group, like you just look up one day and you in 40 different groups. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. Now that was how I felt at first. When I was in group after group after group and after group, and one day I said, "What am I doing in these groups?
Right.
It's not helping me. All it is either like maybe the same people will post links to their books again after again."
Right.
And like in my group, like maybe some people think I'm strict, but I don't play that. I don't play that you just don't post a link. You have to like share your stuff on certain days.
Right.
So, but yeah, I looked up one day and I'm like, I'm in a ton of groups, and it feels like that I have not even made like some type of maybe just a handful of people that I gotten close with, but not. I just like, to me, it just feel like they're a waste of time.
Right.
Because I can just still go off and write instead of like always have to go in someone's group, or always have to like post something in someone's thread in someone's group. And then some will complain about, well, like, I want to see who is still active in this group, and if not, then I'm going to remove you. I said, well, go ahead now. I've gotten to the point where I saved them the trouble and I just removed myself from the group. So, I mean, that to me, like, that's one of the things that I never felt it was that much support is through those groups.
Yeah. And I think we have
to. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
But I think we have to, you live and you learn. You realize what doesn't work. You take the meat, you leave the bone. But you still, those avenues have their value. But I think at some point, you either move on, or you continue doing the same thing you've always done. And and I think if you're particularly if you are monetizing support, you realize, okay, well, this isn't benefiting me.
Right.
I have to keep muting myself. I'm sure you all noticed. Because there's like a dinosaur roar that keeps coming out. Okay, so if I were to ask you to, in one sentence, tell me your why. Why do you do what you do? Can you do that? Because I'm going to tell you the truth. When people ask me, I have a hard time doing that. And I don't know why I have a hard time doing it. I think it's because I'm trying to do too many things. And in my situation, it's like, I grew up in a Christian home, okay? Just about everybody in my family is ordained ministers. I was ordained at 17. So I have a hard time trying to find the line between ministry and business.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think sometimes what I'm doing is ministry and not business. And that's why I'm not getting the business response.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
So, but when I tried to explain that, like, because what made me think of that was when Jason said monetizing it. And a lot of these coaches that I've connected with, they like always telling me I need to monetize what I'm doing, even with the Mother's Cry, this, that, and other. I'm not really clear on what that means, because when I think of a Mother's Cry, I think of it as a community-based organization that just helps people. So every now and then I'll ask for somebody to give donations, like when we were giving to the nursing home and breast cancer, we honor a breast cancer survivor, stuff like that. I don't see how you make money off stuff like that. But then all year long, I'm struggling to come up with money to do the things that I want to do because I'm not making money. So I have got to figure out.
Yeah, it does sound like you need to find a way to financially supplement the things that you are mostly doing for free and out of the goodness of your heart and from donations. I think oftentimes those of us who are in service struggle with asking for stuff, and we struggle with whether or not we're charging too much or whether or not we're, but while business people ask themselves these questions, most successful businesses are not giving away their wares for free, nor are they giving it away at these heavy discounts where they don't see a profit. And but we constantly, particularly as Black people, I hate to say it this way, we always feel guilty about charging what we're worth.
That is true. Yeah.
And so sometimes we have to move our gift beyond the place that's comfortable.
Yeah. That's true.
I remember when I started my coaching business, I was like, is anyone going to pay me that to help them? And you have to flip it. Is it worth it for you? Are you worth the investment? And it's not about, my prices are fair and reasonable in my opinion. But the end user has to determine if it's worth it for them, if they're worth it, and sometimes we feel like we're not worth it, which is why we get stuck.
And you're so right, because you know what, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest with you. When I first came up with this idea, I felt impressed to do this, and I still call it my little talk show. My family members get really irritated with me when I do that. But when I first came up with this idea, I was like, oh my God, I would love to do that. Because remember way back in the day, I used to do blog talk radio. And I loved it. And that was before I had my first spinal surgery. And the whole story, it's just been one thing after another ever since. But that was like 2013, 2014. And so, no. And so I I wanted to get back into it, right? But then I started looking at other people that I know, even some I know personally, that are doing like StreamYard or whatever, and their backgrounds are so nice and plush, and they got big banners and da 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 da. And so I kept saying, I can't do it because I don't have the banners, I don't have this, that, and other. And my oldest son, the one, that's incarcerated, who is like always my greatest advisor, it's amazing to me because for years we didn't even have a good relationship at all. But these last few years have been phenomenal. But he said, when people tune in, like, are they looking for banners? Are they looking for background pictures? Or are they listening to what's being said on the program? He said, that might be what draws somebody. You might say, oh, that's pretty. But they're going to start wanting to hear what you're saying. Right. And what you're saying can save a life. That's the important thing. So I still, even now, I'll like say, thank you for coming to my humble, a humble platform or something like that. But it gets back to what you said about, I have to decide and really accept that what I'm doing is valuable.
Right.
And then somebody else said to me that they said, when you have guests on your show, do they pay to come on the show? And I said, of course not. Like, why would I have you come and sit down and have a conversation with me and then ask you to pay?
Right.
So then she was like, I want you to look at my podcast. So I go and I watch her podcast, and then I'm, giving her feedback. And she said, every author that's ever been on my podcast paid to come on my podcast because I'm giving them an advertisement. I'm giving them an opportunity to reach an audience that they would not normally reach. And I couldn't process that. Like on one level, I understand that. On the other level, I was like, oh my God.
So she monetized it, right? But here's the thing. You can look at that two ways. She found a way to capitalize on her dream. As a creative, I'm going to look at her and say, does she have an audience? Because at this stage in my career as a creative, I'm going to say, does she have an audience? Who is this going to reach? What is the potential of me getting greater exposure? If she has an audience of 2,
yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to decide if that's worth it.
You're right, because if it's just gonna be me and her, like we can just talk on the phone.
And for me, that's not a good investment. But you have to have something that people want, and something that people need.
I think I need to book an appointment with you, Jason. What do you think, Imani?
I was thinking that too. I mean, like he is really good, and like right now I can't afford him right now because I can't afford anything right now. But I was just thinking the same thing. I said, man, he's good. He is really good.
That is so true.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely something I need to look into. So when you say, let me ask you this. When you say, I feel supported, that's extremely important. But what do you need? Someone asked me this the other day. They said, what do you need? Not what do you think the socially acceptable definition or whatever it is, but what do you need to feel supported? And I started thinking about my sons, when they're both in a good place. Like my oldest one, though he's behind the wall, his mentality is freer than a lot of people that I walk around, that I see every day. And getting to the close of finishing this book, every time I talk to him, he's laughing, he's smiling. even when he's telling me about something bad that happened in the prison that day, before we get off the phone, he's laughing and he's in a good place. That makes me feel good. So I feel supported. When the youngest son, and even before he got this Mexico offer, for the last couple of months or so, he's been playing in tournaments here on the Eastern Shore and across the bridge in the Baltimore area, and like literally on teams with NBA players.
How old is your son?
28.
28.
Yeah. And that's another thing, like, some people were like, oh, you're too old, you should have did this like right out of high school. And then I feel bad because he did go to college right out of high school, but then I had my first stroke. And so he, dropped out and came home. And then I talked him into going back to school. And then when the surgeon, I had to go back into surgery, and the surgeon nicked my jugular vein, and they lost me twice on the table. So he dropped out, came home again. So there's just been a lot of opportunity for him that he's missed. And so I'm like, as long as you breathing and the opportunities, the doors open, you do what you got to do to walk in there. So I feel supported when my children are happy.
Yeah.
So what about?
I think you're muted.
What do you, Imani, what do you need to feel supported, at peace, and content as a creative?
Oh, that is a good question. Well, like you, yeah, but like you, it's like my kids. I like to see them happy and content while I'm trying to pursue this dream of mine. But I had suffered with a lot of distractions throughout the years. So it seemed like whenever I get close to just like with a goal, at least try to like to get a book release that I've been trying to do for the last 3 months, just try to re-release my first book. It's just something always happens. And I don't know if it's like maybe God's trying to tell me like, this is not the time, you should wait. But right now it's like I just don't want any more doors closed on me right now. I just like just to at least try to achieve a goal, like at least a goal. So I am fine as far as like what I write, because I got a ton of work on my hard drive that is all complete, that is all finished. I say maybe at least 20. It's just trying for me, as far as the content part, is to afford to like get it produced so it can become real for people to read it. So that's where I'm at now. So that's why I suffer a lot of distractions for the last, I think, since my mom died, and she died in 2011, and then it was more deaths after that. And in fact, I just lost like a mom who was like, she was like a mom to me. So she was like, I consider her like the last mom on this earth, and then she passed away 2 weeks ago. So yeah. So it's just, for me, it's just trying to find a way to make me content, to make me happy, if I can just get my work produced. That is it. So yeah.
That's very good. That was a good response, because I like the fact that we each know what we need to be supported, to feel supported. I know, like with my family, it's important to me, not for the whole entire family. Because I have a huge, when I say huge family, my grandmom had, I think, 12 children. And when my grandfather died, we counted like over 500 grandchildren and great grand.
Wow.
Like my mom was one of the few that had less than that had 3 or less. Like my uncles and aunts, they had 8, 9, 10. Like it just was a huge family. It was so huge that I can't went through high school thinking I wanted 15 kids because I thought that was the number. Like I thought that was the magic number. And my mom had a cousin who had 15 kids, and I thought she was the bomb. Like she was like the epitome of grace and just beauty and all that. And but after I went in labor with that first one, I told God if he let me live through that, he don't have to worry about me. And so it was like 12 and a half years later.
14 more times.
Oh my God, no way. Just shoot me. But my point is that you know what you need to feel at peace. Jason, what does it take for you to feel supported and content?
Oh gosh. That's a good question, a hard question. I think for me, it takes me being in a healthy state mentally in order to be able to see things for what they are. Because I think when we're in the middle of stuff, when we're struggling with things, it colors the truth and shapes the narrative. And I think that we have to know who we are so that we can recognize when that is happening and be able to look at things from where they actually are rather than what we've created in our minds. But support for me, it's hard when I think about the word support because I've always had to support myself.
Okay.
So it's difficult. You know, I'm one of those people who it is difficult to accept support, particularly if it's financial in nature. I want to do things myself. And so I'm one of those difficult people when it comes to support. However, I do like for people to ask me, how can I support you? Because a lot of times people will support you in a way that you don't need. And so I love it when someone asks, how can I support you in this? And it gives you the opportunity to have a real conversation about what support looks like for you.
I like that. I like that. That was a great summary for that question, because if you're giving me a whole lot of stuff that I don't need or want, you're not really supporting me. 90% of the time you're aggravating me, and I'm not going to tell you that you're aggravating me. I remember when somebody not too long ago, what was a few months ago, somebody said to someone else, I just happened to be in the room, and they were talking about somebody that had a need, but they wouldn't tell anybody that they had this need. And so this person said, I don't understand why people sit back and need stuff and won't ask for it. And my immediate response was, a lot of times it's because they don't want to keep hearing about it. So the person just kind of looked at me. I said, because one of the worst feelings in the world is to be in a place of need, and then somebody does something for you and everybody in town knows about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, and I've been there multiple times, and I hear stuff like, well, if it wasn't for so-and-so doing this for you or so-and-so helping you, you wouldn't have been this, that, and other. That's why, and I'm not trying to put nobody on the spot or nothing like that. But recently, someone sent something to me that caught me off guard because I wasn't expecting it. But at that exact moment, I was praying for it. which I guess if you're not gonna believe it, then you don't need to be praying. But it just shocked me because I wasn't anticipating it. And as much as I say we are in a place now where we are to expect unexpected blessings from unexpected places, I still don't put that in practice like I should. I still like, oh my God, I can't believe that, whatever. But my point is, I know I'm not gonna hear that. Like my grandma used to say, until Jesus come back. Like every time I see you, I don't want to be reminded that I was hungry and you and your family brought me some groceries. I don't want to hear that every time I see you.
Right.
So this is where I get I'd rather not ask for help. I'd rather not ask for support because I've gotten that a lot. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that makes you question motives. You know, if someone does something for me, we don't need it. If I want to thank you every time I see you, that's one thing. But I don't need you to remind me of it every time I see you.
Right.
You know.
Right. Yeah, because I don't need you to throw it back in my face.
Yeah.
So I am really bad at that, you know, to ask help. I've been told by my kids like that I need to get out of that. That's just nothing but pride, and that is, I have always been like that, and that's one thing that I do need to work on is to ask for help. So lately, since they got rid of my department at my last job, I have no choice but to ask help. Because I don't want to be back in that place again that I was a few years ago when I like was really in that dark depression. And I mean it was bad, and it was part of it because I didn't want to ask for help. So yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. So it is I don't want to go back in that place, but I have to ask help. I mean, like we all had to ask for help, but we don't need to have anyone throw it back in our faces.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, and I can't stand that either.
Yeah, and I just like, go ahead, Jason.
Go ahead. I also wish that people would, you know, help is relative, right? What you need is subjective, right?
Yeah.
You know, could be, right? I just wish people would ask for what they really need, because there are so many people who need stuff that, you know, so many people have been scammed that they're not comfortable giving things to people who genuinely need it because they've been scammed. So I just wish people would have more integrity when they're wanting something or needing something.
Exactly.
That's a good point.
Yes, he made a great point, because there are a lot of, I'm trying not to say this, I'm trying to be careful when I say this word, scammers on Facebook.
Yeah.
And so like I have to, like when they come in my inbox, I have to really be careful, like even like trying to reach out to them, because I've been scammed before.
Yeah.
And like one cost me, like the first time that I've been scammed, it cost me lots of, you know, like I had to get my book done over again. I had to like I think 2 or 3 people, and this was my first book. That little short book that I ended up getting scammed on. And so I just like I'm really like careful who I even ask. So yeah, I am really careful who I even like try to deal with on Facebook now.
Yeah.
Because I've been scammed, you know,
and
you
have to be careful, you know, because and it all goes back to this. We're talking about monetizing stuff. Some people monetize a lie.
Right.
And try to
that's a good one. Yes. Yeah.
That is true.
And sometimes
That
we're
is
I
not.
know,
true.
like I know the times. There have been a few times that I'm gonna try to keep my eyes on the time because I want to be. I don't want to hold you guys, but I remember the few times when I would do, like raise money for like 1 month or 2 Christmases. We wanted to bless a single mom um, for Christmas to make sure the kids had gifts and stuff like that. And I received some requests, and spiritually I knew they were lies. And then I got confirmation from other people that these people were not who they said they were, and they were like going to different organizations, getting stuff and selling it and stuff like that. And so you definitely have to be careful. You have to be wise when you're giving of yourself, because when you are um, most creatives that I know personally have really good hearts, really
Mhm.
soft hearts,
Mhm.
and they have passion for people and for helping people. And sometimes that's why we get taken advantage of,
To a
because
fault.
we automatically, oh my God, what can I do to help? Like
Yeah.
that's the first thing that comes in my head when I
Mhm.
see somebody have a need. And I had to learn to um no, I can't do that. I can't help everybody. I can't put myself in jeopardy trying to help somebody else.
And we're a scammer's dream. People like us.
Mhm. Yeah.
That is the truth. That is the
You
truth.
have to be smart about it. You just have to do your due diligence and, make sure that trying to the best that you can, make sure that the recipient of whatever is legit. And if you can't, you just have to say, God, my heart is in the right place. So whatever
Right.
happens, happens.
Well, we got like what, 4 minutes left. I want to like I said, I want to be really conscious of the time. I appreciate you guys and uh putting up with me and all this extra drama I got going on. But I was determined that I was not going to cancel again. Um, and I'm just grateful because I'm thankful for this opportunity. I was going to say my little humble, almost try to stop saying I'm working on it. But I really appreciate you guys joining me tonight. It means a lot that you would take time. I know Imani's got a lot going on, going through the grief process, trying to find a job, so forth and so on. I know Jason's got a lot going on, playing with the babies. And Miss Betty, what is her name? Coco.
Coco and Bella.
I think Coco's gonna be yeah, Coco's gonna be the one that you get called into the office a lot.
Yeah, she is.
No, they're so precious. They're so
Thank
precious.
you.
But seriously, I appreciate you guys and sharing your life with me, sharing your heart with me, sharing your visions with me. You have encouraged me tonight because I get, sometimes people see me on social media. I'm always using humor. Um, but there's a lot that's going on behind that. And some days
It's a
between
struggle.
between the physical pain and the emotional pain. And yesterday I had a call. It was funny. I was at this place supposed to get an MRI. And then I get all the way there. And it takes a lot for me to get myself together in the morning because of the pain. And then I get all the way there and they're like, well, we tried to call you yesterday to cancel the appointment.
Do you realize what it took for me to get here?
Okay, that was bad enough. But the reason they were trying to cancel the appointment is because the doctor's office, they had left multiple messages for them to send the authorization paperwork. They never got a response from the doctor's office. So I'm calling the doctor's office, which in the last 3 months, maybe 4 months, totally new staff. Like 4 people walked out on one day, in one day.
Wow.
A week later, 2 more left. Like, well, I started going there in 2013 after my first spinal surgery, and nobody that I know is there now. And so I even called multiple times and didn't get an answer, but I just kept calling and calling. So by the time I called for my ride to come back and get me, my exact words were, can somebody hurry up and come get me before I go to jail? And the dispatcher said, oh my goodness, Miss Green, I never heard you say that before. I'm gonna get somebody right over there.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I got home, I was in pain, I was crying, and then I was aggravated. So it's just a lot going on. And so sometimes when I come to social media, I will share, I'm having a bad day.
Yeah.
I'm because I'm not one of them pretending you're always having a good day, people. But other times I choose to make a joke. Or sometimes I don't even realize I'm being funny until somebody laughs.
Right.
And I'm thinking,
right.
I didn't even know that was funny.
I'm just recapping the story and everybody's laughing.
And I'm thinking, what the heck is so funny? But seriously, I just really appreciate you guys. You don't know how you have blessed me this season. Some of the things you said, you may not even think were really, really big deals, but you really blessed me and I appreciate it. Good. Seriously, Jason, I got to count my coins up because I need to have some coaching sessions.
I got you.
Yeah. Imani, did you have anything you wanted to say before we leave?
No. I mean, this has been a great time. I had a great time, and it was a nice break from like me,
life.
Just going through life itself. So this has just been a great time, just a nice break, just to sit down and talk. So this was nice.
Thank you. I have to keep muting myself so y'all don't hear all this noise in the background. But I appreciate it. He did way better than I thought he was going to do. But he kept hearing some voices in the hallway, so he keeps going to the door waiting for his dad.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to scream, "Go sit down! Your daddy's not out there!" But I appreciate you guys, and Jason, you my boo.
Thank you. Mine too.
You keep me straight. Sometimes I think I want to go all the way left. And then at that exact moment, I'll see Jason post something or something. Even before you got the little puppies, the baby girls, you would post something that would snatch me back. And so I appreciate you so much.
And see, that's support.
Right.
Support.
Right.
That's support.
Wow. That's true. Yeah. That is so true. And Imani would be like, every time I would post something, she would share it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if nobody else is going to share my stuff, I know Imani.
That's true. That's true.
Support.
That is true. That is true about Imani.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, again, I appreciate you, and I will post this as soon as I figure out what I'm doing. But I really want somebody to explain to me why I'm having all this feedback. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but we'll get it together sooner or later.
You'll get it together.
Yeah, you will.
Then I won't have to keep saying my humble little talk.
Right.
All right, guys, have a good evening.
You too.
Thanks
you too.
for joining me.
All right, you take care.
All right, bye-bye.